I love how that sounds in the background there. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. We took like a week off because it was Christmas. Sue me. Today I'm going to show you guys how to mix and master your beats. It's super dark and gloomy and rainy. We'll just make lo-fi. We'll make something kind of chill, relaxing. This is my process. Is it the Grammy award-winning process? I don't know yet. Haven't won a Grammy yet. So that's what we got today. Let's go. Welcome back. Okay, I don't want anyone to say anything about the Christmas tree. I know it's after Christmas. I feel like it needs to stay up till the end of December. Let's get into making this beat. Okay, I really like that, but I didn't record it. This is a function in Logic to actually bring up what you just played. Okay, let's see if I can get a good guitar melody over top of that piano. So what I'm doing right now is a little bit of mixing, right? This guitar didn't come at the right spot. Okay, so now we have the timing of this guitar down, which, like I said, is a part of mixing, to making things sound how you want it to sound. So this is what we got. There's something just so great about putting a kick in. Picked a lot of drum samples that sound like lo-fi drums, right? We have alternating velocities in these drums, which gives it like that live feel for lo-fi. If we used a bunch of weird like synths and tried to make lo-fi drums with EDM drums, it wouldn't sound right. So a lot of mixing is sound selection. For lo-fi, you want ambience, right? So now we're adding elements that are like not as present, maybe like in the background, off to the side. This vinyl is like really high frequencies where like our guitar kind of sits in somewhat the lower and the piano maybe more in the middle, right? Fill out your frequency range, use all ends of the spectrum, use reverb, delays, like all this stuff is mixing. We only want the best bird sounds here in this beat. Come on, people. A nice soft little percussion, and that's gonna be on our left side, just to like balance it out, but also to keep like the listener's ears engaged. We'll just take the bass line of these chords right here. Okay, so we got a really deep sub bass in there. You guys probably really can't even hear it because it's so low. I love how that sounds in the background there. Okay, now we have this beat, obviously not arranged yet. The biggest thing with mixing, and maybe I said it was sound selection, but the two biggest things are sound selection and leveling your sounds. Ladies and gentlemen, if your sounds are not leveled properly, stuff will not sound right. How I normally level, I take everything, I bring it down to 0. What is most important in a track? Vocals, like actual lead vocals, not a sample. Vocals, kick, snare. Okay, those are the driving forces behind every song. Let's start with just bringing up our kick. And I barely want it to be hitting like yellow on the main master fader. Perfect. Okay, now we'll take our snare. In this case, it's like a rim. And I'm bringing that up just a little bit below the kick. This is what I do next, and I think this is so important. I'll start to bring in my main melody elements, but while I do that, I make sure always that the melody does not drown out the kick. So the kick and snare should be very audible to me, even through this piano. So I'm bringing this piano up just to the point where I can hear it pretty well, but it's not overtaking my kick and snare. And for like super beginners, notice how we're only hitting at -9 dB right now, right? We're not peaking, nothing's that loud yet. So I brought in another element now, and it's still not louder than my kick and snare, which is good. And now let's bring in our bass. All right, phone died, but we're back. So like I said, level everything. So now this is our final mix. Perfect. Okay, so we're hitting about -7 dBs, -6 dB. You want to give yourself a pretty good amount of room so you can bring up the volume the right way, the proper way. That's what mastering is. Mastering is just bringing up volume the right way. Okay, so usually when I would master, I would bounce this project, right? I would arrange this out, I'd bounce it, and get the one singular file. Okay, so I'm gonna bring these plugins one by one. So I'm gonna start with the glue compressor, just a little bit of compression. You don't need to use the glue compressor. If you don't feel like buying it, you can use a stock compressor that comes in your DAW. I just use a preset. I have no problem using presets, so this is what we get with just a little bit of compression. Next thing I use to get some loudness and also some more compression is OTT, just a tiny bit of it. Now we can see we're at -2 dB. Next up I'd use is the Ozone 9 imager. Ozone honestly might be free. Don't quote me on that, but I think I heard that somewhere. What a stereo imager does, right, is it can spread out or keep things in the middle. So I keep my low end in the middle. As you can see, if we solo this out, is what I like. I like my bass and my kick straight in the center, right? Okay, so as we work up in frequency, especially up high here, this is how wide it's getting. So it's kind of filling up our stereo image, but we already did a lot of things that contribute to the stereo image with, you know, panning our percussion left and right. Maybe we used like a delay. I didn't this time, but use a delay that gets it, you know, wide. All those things help with the wideness. Last thing is a limiter. So a limiter is bringing up volume while limiting it to -0.1 dB so you don't peak. So with a limiter, basically, I'm just trying to get some nice little gain reduction here. So now that this is, let's say this is done, what I would do now is I would bounce it, I'd have my final, and then what I do, I listen to it on my phone. Okay, how does it sound on my phone? Maybe like the guitar is like distorting through the phone or whatever. Okay, back to the mix, out to the car. Let's listen to it in the car. Bass is way too loud. Okay, I couldn't hear that in here. I couldn't hear that through my phone. Let's turn the bass down a little bit. Back to the mix, keep the master the same. And then I just really just keep listening and listening, trying to fix it until I get my perfect thing that I'm happy with. I think this is great for getting a good loudness. If I think it sounds good, loud enough, and it's comparable to other tracks, I'm happy with it. That's all that matters. I'm not acting like this is the greatest mastering of all time. If you send it to a mastering engineer, you'd probably get better results even, but this is a nice way to do it on your own and you start to learn the process of like, you know, doing that stuff. Last thing real quick, I'm putting out a sad lo-fi EP called Beats to Cry To. If you guys could go pre-save that, click the link, pre-save it on Spotify. It takes like 2 seconds. That would be awesome. As always, if you have any questions, send me a DM on Instagram. Don't be afraid to send me a DM. Send me a DM, I'll respond. I'll try to help you as much as I can. I'll see you guys in the next video next week. Peace.